Hello guys, in the previous video we have seen three rules for filling of electrons into the orbitals of different atoms. Aufbau's principle, Hund's rule and Pauli's exclusion principle. Today, keeping in view these rules and representing an orbital by a circle and an electron and the direction of its spin by an arrow, we can write the distribution of electrons into different levels, sublevels and orbitals of an atom. We are going to see the distribution of these electrons in the first 12 elements. As I just told you, the orbitals are represented by a circle and the electron and its spin is represented by an arrow. Now let's take for hydrogen. The atomic number of hydrogen is 1, so there is only one electron. So it will be present in 1s. You just recall there can be 2 electrons in each orbital. In s subshell only one orbital, so there can be a maximum of 2 electrons. In p subshell there are 3 orbitals in 3 different orientations, px, py, pz. And each orbital can accommodate 2 electrons, so a total of 6 electrons can be present in p subshell. Same way for the d subshell, there are 5 orientations, so each orbital can accommodate 2 electrons, so there are a total of 10 electrons in the d subshell. So in hydrogen there is 1 electron and that electron is present in 1s subshell in this orbital. So 1s is the electronic, 1s1 is the electronic configuration of hydrogen. Now coming to helium, it has got 2 electrons, so we represent a circle, that is the orbital. In 1s orbital there are 2 electrons. And coming to lithium, there are 3 electrons in the lithium atom, so 2 electrons are present in 1s because s can accommodate only 2 electrons and the next electron enters 2s. And now coming to beryllium, which has 4 electrons, 2 electrons are present in 1s and the third electron enters 2s and then pairing occurs. So 2 electrons in 1s orbital and 2 electrons in 2s orbital. Now coming to boron, which has got 5 electrons. See, in 1s 2 electrons, in 2s 2 electrons, so totally 4 electrons are accommodated and the fifth electron enters the 2p orbital, 2p subshell, so this is the 1 electron. Now for carbon there are 6 electrons, in 1s 2 electrons and 2s 2 electrons, and then coming to 2p we have 1 electron in the px and 1 electron in py. This is what Hund's rule says. It says until the electrons occupy all the degenerate orbitals singly, then only pairing occurs. The reason for such a tendency is quite obvious. The electrons are negatively charged and they repel each other. Hence, they try to spread out and occupy the identical orbital singly before they begin to pair. As a result, the repulsions are minimum. So, energy will be minimum and the stability will be maximum. And after filling all the orbitals, degenerate orbitals, pairing occurs because less energy is needed to pair up than to occupy the higher empty orbital. Suppose after filling up all this degenerate levels 1, 2, 3, the fourth electron pairing up here is much easier than the fourth electron going to the third energy level. So after singly occupying, pairing occurs and then the higher orbital is occupied. So for carbon you have 1, 2 in p orbital. And coming for nitrogen, the atomic number is 7. See, 2 electrons in 1s, 2 electrons in 2s and 1, 2, 3 electrons in the p subshell occupying the 3 orbitals px, py and pz. And oxygen 8 electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and then pairing occurs. After all the degenerate orbitals are singly occupied, then only pairing occurs. And for fluorine, there are 9 electrons. See, 1, 2 in 1s. See, 1s has got a lower energy than 2s. So, occupying 1s and then pairing occurs, and then only the third electron goes to 2s. But here in this case all the three are degenerate, so all the orbitals are singly occupied and then pairing occurs. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. And coming to neon, atomic number is 10, so there are 10 electrons, 1s 2 electrons, in 2s 2 electrons, and 1 2 3 4 5 6. So all the 3 orbitals in p subshell are occupied. And for sodium there are 11 electrons, see 2 in 1s, 2 electrons in 2s, and 1 2 3 4 5 6, 6 electrons in 2p. So totally how many electrons are occupied? 10 electrons, and one more electron enters the 3s, which means the next energy level. Coming to Mg, there are 12 electrons, in 1s 2 electrons, in 2s 2 electrons, and in 2p 6 electrons. So totally 10 electrons are occupied, and the 2 electrons enter 3s subshell. And remember, 1s this is k shell, 2s and 2p L shell, and 3s is the M shell. So in k you have one orbital, in L you have 2s and 2p subshell, and in M you have 3s 3p 3d. So since we are talking about atom with just 12 electrons, we have stopped with 3s. So if you go on increasing the atomic number, as the number of electrons increases, you can keep on filling the orbitals following the Aufbau's principle in the increasing order and occupying all the orbitals. But this method of writing the electronic configuration is quite tedious. So usually the electronic configuration of the atom of any element is simply represented by the notation. I'll show you that notation. So let's see how to write the electronic configuration of atoms. So what does mean by electronic configuration of atoms? The distribution of electrons into different levels, sublevels and orbitals of an atom is called its electronic configuration. Levels means we talk about K, L, M, N, that levels, which is represented by principal quantum number. Sublevels we are talking about whether it is occupying S, P, D, F, and orbitals we are talking about orientations px, py, pz, dxy, dyz, that represents the orbital. So the distribution of electrons into different levels, sublevels and orbitals of an atom is called its electronic configuration. This is the notation used to represent the electronic configuration of the atom. See, n L par x. This n is the number of principal shell. If it is k shell, this n will be equal to 1. If it is L shell, this n will be 2. So this number represents the principal shell number, and this symbol stands for the subshell or orbital. So here you write whether S, P, D or F or subshell in which your electron is present, and this represents the number of electrons present. So this is energy level, which means this is shell, this is subshell, or you can call this as orbital. This is orbit, orbital. For example, if I am writing 1s2, this means 2 electrons are present in the S subshell of the first main shell. So this number represents the principal quantum number. So when n is equal to 1, what shell is that? It is the first shell which is K shell, and this represents the subshell. So my electron is present in the S subshell, and this represents the number of electrons. So there are 2 electrons in the S subshell of the main shell. So to get the complete configuration of an atom, a number of such notations are written one after the other in order of the increasing energies of the orbitals, starting always with the orbital of lowest energy, which is 1s. So starting from 1s, we will keep on adding the electrons into the orbitals of increasing energies. So using this method of representation, I will show you the electronic configuration of few elements. So the atomic number, the element symbol, the electronic configuration. For hydrogen, the atomic number is 1. So the electronic configuration is represented as 1s1. And for helium, atomic number 2, so the configuration is 1s2. For lithium, there are 3 electrons, 1s2, 2s1. And sometimes we use a easy way of writing this configuration. This 1s2 it is the electronic configuration of helium. So instead of writing this 1s2, you can just write the symbol of helium in the bracket. So this represents what? 1s2. So for lithium, it can be either written as 1s2, 2s1 or helium in the bracket 2s1. So for helium, 2 electrons, and for 2s 1 electrons to so totally 3 electrons. And for beryllium, same way, instead of 1s2, you can put helium in the bracket and write 2s2, or else what will be the configuration? 1s2, 2s2. And for boron, instead of 1s2, we are writing helium. After 1s2, the electrons will enter 2s and then they will go to 2p. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. And for carbon, 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. And for nitrogen, same way, 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. So the as the number of electron increases, we keep on adding the electron to this orbitals. For fluorine, 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. And for neon, you have 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. Now see, I've written a number here. This represents the number of electrons in the shells. See, 1s1, it is just 1. 1s2, it is 2, because both these electrons are present in K shell. So here 1s2, 2s1. So this is K shell, where it is 2, it represents the L shell. So I write 2, 1. So 2 electrons in the first shell and 1 electron in the second shell. And here 2, 2. Here 2, 3. See, you should not write these two in different shells. Both 2s and 2p, they present in the same shell. Look at this number. So this number represents the principal quantum number. So this n is equal to 2 represents L shell. So 2, 3. So here 2, 4. Here 2, 5. Here 2, 6. 2, 7. 2, 6 plus 2, 8. So here for neon, we have 8 electrons in the outer shell, which is completely filled. No more electrons can be present in p orbital. So for writing the electronic configuration of the next element, you have to enter the next subshell. So we can take this as just like helium. For 10 electrons, you can write neon in the bracket and then write the next configuration. Now look for sodium. The atomic number is 11. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. See, 2 plus 2, 4, 4 plus 6, 10, 10 plus 1, 11. So 11 electrons are there. So 2 electrons in 1s, 2 electrons in 2s, and 6 electrons in 2p, and the 11th electron enters 3s1. So this is represented by neon's electronic configuration. See, 6 plus 2 plus 2 is 10. So instead of this, you can write Ne in the bracket 3s1. So this Ne accounts for the 10 electrons. So 10 plus 1, totally 11 electrons. And one more thing, this is K shell, this 2 are in L shell, this is in M shell. So 2, 6 plus 2, 8, 8, 1 is the general representation of the electrons. So 2, 8, 1. And for magnesium, there are 12 electrons. So neon 10, 3s2. So or you can write 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. And the next one is aluminium. 10 electrons represented by neon's configuration, and then 3s2, and the 13th electron enters 3p1. You should not get confused. P can have 6 electrons, but here I have only 13. So fill till 13th electron and stop there. It doesn't mean you can keep on adding. As many electrons are present in the given element, write the configuration and stop with that. So the general configuration would be 2, 8, 3. Same way for silicon, it is 2, 8, 4. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p2. So this is how we write. Now coming to organ, there are 18 electrons. So neon 10 and then 3s2, 3p6. Now the configuration is complete here, which means P can hold only 6 electrons and that is complete. And moreover, organ is a neon, inert gas, which means it is more stable because it has octet configuration in its outermost shell. So we take, just like neon, we take organ as the easy way of representing the next elements electronic configuration. So just like how we wrote neon for 10 electrons, you can write 18 for argon for 18 electrons. Since argon is considered as a stable element, we are representing the 18 electrons by argon's configuration. So in potassium there are 19 electrons, so you can write 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s1. Or instead of that 18 electrons, you can represent it as argon in the bracket and then write 4s1, because argon represents 18 electrons. 18 plus 1 is 19. So the general configuration would be 2, 8, 8, 1. And remember, you are following Aufbau's principle. Arrange the electrons in the increasing order of their orbital's energy. And finally, for calcium, the atomic number is 20. So 18 is represented by argon and the 2 electrons 4s2. So 2, 8, 8, 2. Some will get a doubt here because we have seen based on the formula 2n square, how many electrons can be in K shell? 2 electrons, L 8 electrons and M 18 electrons. And then in N you can have 32 electrons. But here you have 2 in K shell, 8 in L shell and 8 in M shell, because we are following Aufbau's principle to fill the subshells. So after filling the 3p, we are not filling 3d, we are filling which orbital? We are going to 4s, because compared to 3d, 4s got a lower energy. I taught you about n plus L rule. So after filling 4s, then only 3d is filled. So 4s is in the N shell. So that's the reason why we write 2 here. And then when d orbital of third main shell is filled, then this number will increase. So remember that pattern which we drew while we studied about Aufbau's principle, to remember these orbitals in the increasing order of their energies. So this is how you're supposed to write the electronic configuration. As I just told, these electronic configuration, it is filled following the Aufbau's principle. But there are certain elements which have electronic configuration that do not follow Aufbau's principle. Now let's see that exceptional electronic configuration. See, some elements possess electronic configurations different from those expected from the Aufbau order. It is due to the tendency of subshells to be exactly half filled or completely filled. That is the reason why they don't follow Aufbau order at some point. For example, how many electrons can be present in S subshell? There can be 1 electron. Then it is 2 electrons, which means it is completely filled. What is mean by half filled? If there is 1 electron in S subshell, S orbital, we call that as half filled. Same way in P, how many electrons can be there? 6. When we say half filled, there will be 3 electrons. Same way in D orbital, there can be 10 electrons. When we say half filled, there will be 5 electrons. So now I'll show you an example. For chromium, the atomic number is 24. So how can we write the configuration? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d4, 4s2. So according to Aufbau's order, 3d should be filled first and then 4s should be filled first and then 3d. So see, we have 24 electrons. Till this we have filled how many electrons? 18 electrons. And after 18th electron, 4s is filled. Okay, 19, 20 and then 4 electrons in 3d. This is what we expect, but the actual configuration of chromium is, till this it's okay, till 3p6 the same configuration, but here instead of 3d4 4s2, the actual configuration is 3d5 4s1. As I told you, 3d5, here it is half filled because d can accommodate 10 electrons, here it is 5 electrons. Same way 4s half filled. So 4s1 and 3d5, since they are half filled, they are more stable than this configuration. So this is the actual configuration of chromium. So when they ask you to write the electronic configuration of chromium, you are supposed to write this, not this. Same way for copper, the atomic number is 29. So what will be the configuration? Till this we have 18 electrons are filled. Now the 19th electron enters 4s, 19, 20 and then 9 electrons in 3d. This is the expected configuration for copper. But the actual configuration is, instead of 3d 9 4s2, it is 3d 10 4s1, because 3d 10 electrons in d orbital is a completely filled subshell which is more stable. Same way 4s is half filled. So instead of 3d 9 4s2, you can have a doubt here, s is fully filled, but compared to this and with this, 3d 10 4s1, which is fully filled half filled, is more stable than this configuration. So this is the actual configuration for copper. So the reason why the half filled and completely filled subshells are more stable, we will see the reasons. So just now we said some electronic configurations are exceptions. What is the reason for that? Due to the tendency of subshells to be stable in half filled and completely filled state. Now we are going to see why the subshells are more stable in half filled and completely filled state. The reason is that for the greater stability of half filled and completely filled subshells are due to symmetry and exchange energy. See, when there are 3 electrons in p or 6 electrons in p orbital, then it is having a symmetry. So due to that symmetry, they have greater stability. So more symmetrical, more stability. That's the reason half filled and completely filled configurations are more stable. And the next reason for that stability is exchange energy, where the electrons present in the different orbitals of the same subshell can exchange their positions. Each such exchange results in release of energy called exchange energy, and that leads to a greater stability. As the number of exchanges are more stable will be that orbital stability. Here the number of exchanges possible in d4 configurations are written. See, when you say d4, there are 4 electrons in the d orbital. So the first electron can have 3 exchanges. See, it can go to this, here, here. So there are 3 exchanges possible for the first electron, and for the second electron 1, 2. 2 exchanges are possible. For the third electron 1 exchange is possible. So total number of exchanges are 3 plus 2 plus 1, 6 exchanges. So the number of exchanges possible in d4 configuration is 6. Now coming to the number of exchanges possible in d5 configuration. So there are 5 electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for the first electron there are 4 exchanges possible, and for the second electron 3 exchanges are possible. For the third electron 2 exchanges, and for the fourth electron 1 exchange. So the total number of exchanges is equal to 10. So for d4 configuration, exchanges possible are 6. Here the exchanges possible are 10. As the number of exchanges that can take place is maximum in the exactly half filled arrangement, the exchange energy is maximum here, and hence the stability is maximum in the d5 configuration. Same happens for the d10 configuration also. So because of these two reasons, exchange energy and symmetry, half filled and completely filled configurations are more stable. Now let's see few examples based on the topics that we studied today. What atoms are indicated by the following electronic configurations? They have given you the electronic configuration and they're asking you which element's atom is that. See, 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. So how many electrons are there? 2 plus 2 plus 1. This represents the number of electrons and this number represents the energy level. So 2 plus 2 plus 1. So totally 5 electrons. So for which element the atomic number is 5? Boron. So the element represented by this configuration is boron. And coming to this configuration, argon 4s2 3d1. So what are the total number of electrons present in this? For argon it is 18. 18 plus 2 plus 1 will be equal to 21. So which element is represented by 21? It is scandium. Now the next question, give the electronic configuration of Cu2 plus, Cr3 plus and S2 minus. First coming to Cu2 plus. For copper, what is the atomic number? 29. When you say 2 plus, it means 2 electrons are removed. So when you remove 2 negatives, you are getting 2 positive here. So copper without 2 electrons is represented as Cu2 plus. So what is the configuration of copper? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10, 4s1. Just now we have seen the exception. You should not write 3d9, 4s2. It is 3d10, 4s1. From this, 2 electrons are removed. Always remember, the electron will be removed from the outermost shell first and then the next shell. So here, which is the outermost shell? 4. So from this, 1 electron is removed and the next one is 3d. From here, 1 electron is removed. So what will be the configuration? Till this 3p6 you can write as such. Here don't write this 4s1 because 2 electrons are removed, and here 3d9. So 1 from 3d and 1 from 4s electrons are removed. So for Cu2 plus, this is the right configuration. See, when you are asked to write Cu2 plus, you need not write this. This is for your understanding. I have written here. You can directly write this, but you should write without mistakes. And the next one is chromium 3 plus. The atomic number of chromium is 24. When you say 3 plus, which means how many electrons are removed? 3 electrons are removed. Just now we have seen the electronic configuration of chromium, 3d5, 4s1. If you are removing 3 electrons, 1 from S and 2 from 3d. So what will be the configuration? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d3. For chromium with 24, it was 3d5, 4s1. Since you are removing 3 electrons, you are removing 1 from 4s and 2 from 3d. So you are writing 3d3 for Cr3+. And the last one, for S2 minus, it is sulfur. For sulfur, the atomic number is 16. When you write 2 minus, 2 electrons are added. So the total number of electrons, 18. So you can write 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, where you have 18 electrons. For sulfur, the configuration is different, and for S2 minus, it is different. Depending upon the number of electrons, you should write the electronic configuration. And the last example, predict whether the following configurations are possible for an electron and give the reason. Now they've given you few electronic configurations and they are asking you whether it is possible or not. First one, 1s2, 2s2, 2px1. Yes, it is possible because this is the order followed by Aufbau's principle to fill the electrons. 1s and then 2s and then comes 2px. And next configuration, 1s2, 2s1, 2px2, 2py1, 2pz1. This is not right because it violates Aufbau principle. See, 2s, 2. After filling, pairing up 2s, then only it should go to 2p. When it comes to 2p, x, y, z are singly occupied and then pairing occurs. But here it should be paired and then only after 2s is paired, then only the electron enters 2p. So this violates Aufbau's principle. So this is not possible. This is the correct configuration. See, 1s2, 2s2, 2px1, 2py1, 2pz1. The third one, you have 1s2, 2s2, 2px2, 2py1. This is also not right because it violates Hund's rule. See, until the degenerate orbitals are singly occupied, pairing does not occur. 2px, 2py, then 2pz should be filled and then only it should pair with 2px. So this is the right configuration. This is not possible. And the last one, 1s2, 2s2, 3s2. Again, this violates Aufbau's principle because after 2s, what should come? 2p. So the right configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. So this is also not possible. So remember, while writing the electronic configurations, you have to follow the rules that you have learned and then fill the electrons into the orbitals. Thank you.